Welcome to the channel. If this is your first time here, welcome. As we cleanse the energy and find out what is actually in your energy for today through the messages. If this is your first time here, welcome. And for those of you who are returning, welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back. So I'm going to take our initial messages from the Wisdom of the Trees deck. I don't know, I always like to hear, I like to start out with these nature tree, with this tree deck, because one, it allows me to get to know more about nature and the trees, which we could all use a little bit more insight about, right? So first out we have the holly. And the holly is one of those, if you look at it, you usually see this around the holiday time with the tinsel. I'm not sure if that's the plant that's used for the mistletoe, but that's what it that's what it reminds me of. I don't know, standing under the mistletoe, that's for someone, but the holly's about truth. And so it's giving the energy of being knowledgeable and not letting yourself confuse fact and fiction, knowing your truth. It's encouraging you to listen to your intuition as it is guiding you towards what resonates with you, with your soul on a soul level. So many of you are tapping into truth, or you're being encouraged to tap into the truth. And then we also have the ginkgo, like some of you have heard of this, ginkgo biloba. It's a herb, usually for health. This is what that tree looks like. And the ginkgo is about memory. And that's actually what I think it was like when you used to, there was a big phase of people taking ginkgo biloba as an herb, but the actual plant, the tree, deals with memory. And so for many of you, I get this energy of you subconsciously tapping into remembering your truth, your soul's truth. And this is bringing you into self-mastery. Now, this soul's truth, for many of you, you may not like actually recognize that this is happening because it's happening on a subconscious level. So it's like the things that are around you don't, okay. For some of you, the things that are around you are now not resonating with the truth of your soul, is what I'm getting. As you're moving forward, as you're coming into this energy, oh, that is so many. As you're coming into this energy of self-mastery and moving forward, it's like you're stepping more into setting the intentions that actually resonate with your soul. And if something doesn't resonate with your soul, it's like it's a fantasy or an illusion, and you don't want to get caught up at this time in fantasies and or illusions. You want to tap into your I just heard heartfelt intention. And so for many of you, this is, tapping into your intentions. And so for many of you, this is bringing forth ancestral healing, or this is at that time what your soul is resonating with. because you're tapping into the truth of your self-mastery, tapping into the truth of your ancestral lineage, this is bringing forth more clarity to your conscious mind, because you're tapping into those subconscious messages and knowing your truth. For many of you, this has to do with the maternal lineage. This has been coming out a lot lately, whether you're a man or a woman. Any storms, anything that's been coming up when it comes to things that have gone on within the maternal lineage of your family, many of you are healing this. I don't know, this is coming to me right now. So take it as it resonates. And many of you don't have to agree with this. I was actually going to make this a live. But not to say right or wrong, take it as it resonates with you. But many people say the family you have here is not your authentic family or your real family. And I tend to agree to disagree with that. I think everything plays a part in it, because whether you incarnated into this family to simply learn soul's lessons, to simply resonate with your soul's truth, they've now still become a part of your ancestral lineage. Like, think about it for a minute. Whether they're of a karmic nature or not, because let's face it, at some point in time we are all karmics for someone or something. Being karmic is about learning lessons, right? So I don't take that term completely with a negative connotation. It's just, can you recognize the lesson and what it is that the truth that your soul came here to learn? So even if in a past life or another life you incarnated and you were of an angelic lineage, or you came and you were of an ancient, like I'm thinking Egypt, royal lineage, in each, I didn't know this was going here, but here we go. In each incarnation, just like a family tree, if you think about it, okay, I don't know where you taking me today, Spirit, but let's roll with it. With a family lineage, you start out with a mom and a dad, right? But then that mom and that dad have kids. And then where there were two, one and one came together and there were two, they had kids, and their kids became 2, 3, 4, or 5, and then that becomes exponentially greater, and those kids have kids, and now the two that started out are grandparents, and then they become great grandparents, and then they become great great grandparents. Okay, and so it's like, just like a tree starts out as a little baby sapling, and then it grows and it has all of these fruits and these branches, and on different branches different things happen, right? But all in all, it still came from that initial seed. And so just like with the tree, there's going to be some fruit that comes out, and yes, it is so delectable, so delicious to eat. And then there is some fruit that didn't get to ripen all the way. So I take that as they didn't get to learn their full lessons. There's some fruit that was picked too soon, so it wasn't ready for the lessons that came forward. All in all I'm saying is that all of it is a part of you, even the karmic lessons. So like, even if you don't resonate or you're the black sheep of your family now, they're still a part of your lineage. And I say this all to say that one day we're going to pass on our seed, for most of us who resonate with this. If this message isn't for you, it's not for you. And that's okay. Not every message is for us, but who it's for, you're going to be passing on your seed, right? And so when you're passing on your seed, it's going to grow and it's going to produce fruit. Some fruit is going to grow to its full ripeness, and then it's going to produce more fruit. And some fruit withers, some doesn't taste as well. You get where I'm going with that, right? And so even when, because some, okay, where are you taking this? Because some will say that your family here, and this is just something that's been coming to me lately. Some will say your family here, even if you're a black sheep, even if they're karmic, because you can have karmic mothers, you can have karmic fathers, you know, and that's why this energy of like healing the maternal aspects. Now, I'm not saying there's not something that the divine is doing with the paternal aspect of it too, but lately the divine feminine energy, the matriarchs, have been coming up and balancing out that energy of the matriarchal lineage, right? And so if you came through a certain womb, you're a part of that lineage. Like, you may not resonate with them because that's not what your soul's truth came in to be a part of, or did it because they needed to learn lessons by watching you prevail against any weapons that were formed against you, even if they were the ones that created the weapons. Do you see what I'm getting? Take that as it resonates. I'm not sure where that was going, but it was something that needed to be said, and so it has been said. Now, because for some of you, I'm getting, there's some of you've been going through, it feels like a storm within the family, like you're not as connected with the aunties, the mothers, the wives. And there's something that the divine is right siding up. What has felt like it was upside down is now being turned right side up. And there's like new beginnings happening here, right? And for many of you, there's a focus. You're going to be able to see things more clearly and then move directly towards the healing of certain aspects within the family. It's like the way we used to do things will be now balanced out. Will move in a more harmonious way. And this is because those of you who are tapping into your soul's truth, coming into the remembrance of this truth, it's moving you towards self-mastery. And this self-mastery is setting a firmer foundation for the generations that are to come after you. It's moving things forward in a more holistic way. Okay, I see you coming out now. It's bringing forth more harmony. It's also bringing forth the abundance back to many of you, to your birth line, knowing that abundance is your birthright. Many of you came into these bloodlines to be of service. And when you call on your ancestors, these are going to be some of the people you're calling on. One day you're going to be an ancestor. And that's what got me to thinking about this. I was like, because I heard someone speaking about, it was a couple of things. There were so many things that were coming forth, and I started getting these downloads, right? And then I was like, well, one day I'm going to be an ancestor, and I would definitely want to come through and be able to help my lineage in whatever obstacles or in whatever way that they called on me for. Now, that's not in any way, shape, or form to say that we have more authority than the Most High, but all things work together. And so, it gave me this instance to have an attitude of gratitude for even my karmic ancestors, those that are of the darker side of your lineage. Because I feel like, and that's why I talk about balancing out the light and the dark, because some don't know the story of me spiritually. But honey, baby, there is some things that I went through on the spiritual realm, and some of you will resonate with that. That's how I came more into awareness of spirituality, of the ancestors. Some of you who are psychic mediums and weren't, before you became aware of that gift, it's like you may have been a little weary of it, not able to fully have an attitude of gratitude about it. But there's a synergy of things working together. And so with this synergy, it's like I recognize now how to be of service on a spiritual aspect. And many of you are coming into this as well. And you're finding out ways of being able to heal the ancestral lineage so that certain things aren't persisting for the generations that are to come. Things happen on a spiritual realm before they actually happen in the physical. And what's being balanced out is releasing the toxicity of the bloodline, holding on to certain patterns that when you didn't know better, you didn't do better. But now that you're knowing better, you're being of service, you're moving in a way of service, having an attitude of gratitude, you're tapping into that divine mother energy. There's this balancing out of connections. It's like many of you are tapping into your precognitive abilities, where you're having future visions of the future. That's where that memory is coming into play. Many of you have the memories of the things that happened in the past, the way certain toxicities were very present within your lineage, very karmic. Some of us came from very karmic backgrounds, but you came into this lineage to be of service. And a part of that being in service is because you could see the future in a more balanced way. You could see things being able to be right side up. And then take the actions to actually implement taking the steps to create that sacred healing. Many of you recognize the circle of life, the timeless dance of life, and how things work together, how that synergy plays together. And right now, it's about balancing out that divine feminine energy. This message has come up a couple of times, but it's about the acceptance of releasing toxic relationships and being of service, and actually having an attitude of gratitude that you were of one of the souls that were chosen to be able to have the strength to incarnate in the certain bloodlines. And so this is where that energy of being able to have forgiveness comes in. Because when we're here, we forget. And so many of you are tapping into that memory now of why your soul chose to take on these truths, chose to come and assist to balance things out. and are able to accept yourself and forgive yourself, accept the future visions that you have, accept that family is karmic, but we all have our own pathways and we're all growing with these spiritual lessons. And it's a part of how the divine is working things out. And many of you, now that you're coming into this memory, the memory of these things, you now have a laser beam focus on how to move forward and stand firm as you're moving forward. There's movement that's happening. It may not have felt like it, but this is happening in the spiritual first. So some of you are soon going to see like a burst on the scene of things, of the intentions I just heard that you've set actually coming forth abundantly. And abundance is a thing that is not just about material gain. Many will say it's about material gain, but how abundant does it feel to be able to take constructive action? Constructive action, where you're building a firmer foundation for your children, for your children's children, and then for others children as well, because you become an inspiration to others. Where you're able to move beyond ancestral patterns. Many of us will be elders. If you're not an elder right now, you'll be an elder. And what's the legacy that you're leaving? Will we continue the same toxic patterns or the same toxic relationships? Or do we move beyond these ancestral patterns? We have to start somewhere, right? And the first place to anything, I think, in those 12-step programs that they have about addictions and stuff, is acceptance. Don't quote me on that. I've never taken one of those programs, but I know that acceptance is one of the steps. And you're accepting on a multitude of levels. You're accepting that abundance is your right. And I was speaking of abundance not just being in about material gain, but abundance is also in relationships, family. You cannot have a whole lot of material stuff, but when you have people that truly care for you, you're more rich than someone who can have a bank account full of money. Especially since you can't take the money with you. But what do you take with you? Your ancestral lineage. And it's also what you leave behind. That's the value of being a soul and incarnating here. That's a part of the self-mastery too. The divine is really speaking about self-mastery. Because as you master self, you're then able to create those ripple effects of abundance. You're then able to be of service because you know yourself. You know yourself. You have an attitude of gratitude about who you are, what you came here to do. And how your puzzle piece fits into the bigger picture. Because we all are a puzzle piece in a bigger picture. A puzzle piece in your lineage, you play a part in it. Even if you don't F with them like that. Let's just keep it real, because some people you do, like, we came for these lessons. So some people you may write off. You and my Dukes may not be on the up and up. Maybe your father was that rolling stone. Here's a caveat to that, though. Even if they came to just lay the seed, without that seed, you still would not be the creation that's here. Now, you don't have to walk in the same ancestral patterns that were toxic. You can turn things right side up and release the toxic relationships. You can move things forward in a healthier, better way, in a more constructive way. And many of you are doing this. That's why you're tapped into this self-mastery. Chakras aligned. And being of service. Whoa. Has it always been easy? No. Because some of you have very trickster spirits in your bloodline. You see, there's always that, when we talk about balance, right? When you look at a scale, there's two weights on the scale, right? And with each weight, I'm gonna put this one here. With each weight, there's something that's got to balance the other one out, right? And so for some of you, how I'm seeing this is that there's been on the weight of or think of the two, how you can have the angel that's speaking positivity in one ear and the fallen angel on the other shoulder speaking negativity in the other ear. And some have taken on the trickster spirits, the ones that'll talk the negativity. Oh, you don't bother, you don't roll with them like that. Oh, they karmic, they this, they that, and they just may be. Don't get it twisted, they just may be. But do you continue to flow in that energy? Now, of course, you set your boundaries. Boundaries are what keeps the thing healthy. But if we stay in an energy of fear, guilt, shame, hatred, because you don't have to hate somebody to just set your boundary and move away from them. Sometimes that is the lesson for someone. The fact that they are not able to be in your energy field. We all come here to learn lessons. Some do have very trickster, shady type entities. And yet and still, you came through that bloodline. So, with these tricky energies, how is it that you're connected to be of service? These are the questions you ask yourself. It could be simply, like I said, to set the boundary, cut it off, so that they know how to, you teach people how to treat you, right? For others of you, it's going to be leading by example. If you don't know how to do better, you've never seen better, you got to be shown sometimes. So you lead by example. How are we being of service? Because many of you are getting wisdom in your dreams, and you're gaining greater accessibility to divine wisdom. And this is because you've tapped into the self-mastery. This is also because you've balanced out certain connections that were very tricky. For many of you, you figured out how to let go of certain I just got this image of someone brushing the little toxic angel off their shoulder. You know how the song go, brush your shoulders off? Somebody just brushed a little toxic fallen angel off their shoulder like some dandruff, and decided to step into the wisdom on how to move forward in a more balanced way. And this is assisting you in moving beyond these ancestral patterns. That's too many. It's also moving you into alignment because there's endless opportunities for you to step through so that you can balance certain forces out. This is allowing for many of you to tap into your crown chakra with your unlimited self, where you're linked to the multidimensionalness of it all. Hence the ancestral line, hence spirituality, hence the Most High, multi-dimensions, multiple facets, connecting you to the heavens, connecting you to the limitlessness, what you trying to say? To being limitless. Thank you. Whatever. Limitlessness. To unlimited possibilities. There we go. Let's just say that. And a family tree is usually limitless. It starts with one or two, but then, like I said, it grows into a mother and a father becoming grandmother and father, becoming great grandmother and father, great great grandmother. You know, recently my grandmother passed, and she was a great 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 grandmother by the time she passed. And we were putting you know how you put the funeral thing together, and it started out with her having 7 children that turned into, I think it was then like 40 as we were counting everybody up. By the time we got done to the great great grand, it was over it was close to like 100 and something souls that were connected all the way back to my grandmother. Okay, so that's how many of you are stepping into this limitlessness of self-mastery and healing the divine feminine within you and becoming divine mothers that are nurturing, compassionate, and caring. And for the masculines, this is also tapping into that energy. Some of you didn't have mothers that were divine or nurturing or caring. Hell, keep it real, in this society, many of us didn't, because there was a time where come on, man, I don't want to go there. Listen, it was a time where let's I don't want to go there. I'm not going there. I'm sorry. Either way, it's just time to let go of insecurities about how we're becoming parents and about how we're moving forward. I heard you, Divine. I'm not being insecure about speaking. I just choose not to go there, okay? But things are expanding. There's expansion that's happening. Expansion to speak your truth. And expansion to not be insecure about abundance being your right. Abundance on a multitude of levels. Within relationships. Within life. Life in a way where you're not striving but thriving. And that doesn't mean you have to have a whole bunch of... I never even knew this card was in there. It doesn't mean you have to have a whole lot of material things to have love in your household. There was a time where I didn't even know that we didn't have the best because we still had a lot of love. Now, was it always peaches and ice cream? No. Were there karmics in the family? Of course, because there's lessons to learn within every bloodline. But did that stop us from letting your light shine? You see that? Let your light shine. And so this is a part of that self-mastery. To let certain cycles of insecurity end so that you can let your light shine. I actually want to read this one, but I don't know where the guidebook is, so I'm not gonna. But I mean, the message is very clear. Let your light shine. The wisdom, the abundance within you to shine brightly so that it can be shared with others. And not feeling insecure about the light that you bring. There's a reason for it. Whether you know it or not, your light, for some of you I'm getting, brings healing. You see, when you're balanced and all your chakras are in alignment, it's like it glows like this heart up here. Do you see that? So letting your light shine is a part of this timeless dance of life. And being grateful for the light that shines within you. And when you're a flame and you're letting your light shine, you can ignite, inspire other people's lights, other souls' light to shine as well. For some of you, that's how you're being of service. Your soul set the intention to remember, to tap into these memories of your truth. Some of you, it may sound kind of harsh, you came to be of service to show others how to get over insecurities, to show others how to get over rejection. And unfortunately, or fortunately actually, many of you went through those things. You went through not being secure within yourself. You went through others rejecting you. You can't play in our little circle. You can't be in our cult. Thank you. You can't be in our coven. Thank you for that, too. I'm just saying. Listen, I love to laugh, so yeah, I'm gonna do that. It lightens the mood for me, okay? But many of you, yeah, you went through rejection. You went through rejection, but we said it before, sometimes rejection is protection. And sometimes rejection is how you turn things right side up. Because someone rejected you, for some of you, you have this tenacity where it just made you go harder. It made you stronger. You turned that frown right side up. And it allowed you to continue to let your light shine. To find those places that made you feel like home. When I think of home, what you think of? A place where there's, yeah, I don't know, love overflowing. Many of you are tapping into these precognitive abilities. Too many precognitive abilities, because you have had those memories, because you've tapped into those memories, because you've had certain memories that allowed you to tap into truth, you're now having a laser beam focus and seeing the future. Precognitive. Still too many. Why so many keep trying to come out of this thing? Just one or two, please, so I can wrap this up. One or two. But yeah, these precognitive abilities for many of you are about moving beyond ancestral patterns and bringing balance, accepting who you are, where you came from, why you came through in certain bloodlines, and setting the intention to have things be right side up. It's like you can see the rainbow now in all the colors. See how that goes with the chakras? And I'm getting that many of you with the self-mastery coming out here twice are doing just that. Tapping into your abundance on a multitude of levels. And whatever changes need to happen, even if they happen suddenly, you're allowing the old foundations that weren't stable enough to fall down. And many of you got wounded, hurt, rejected doing this. Some of you had to set boundaries and walk away so that you could come out of those illusions and assist others to come out of those illusions of where they might have been connected to certain entities, energies that were tricksters, that were falling. Allowing the foundations to fall, the illusions to fall. Was it an easy task? No. Did some of you feel wounded, rejected, and hurt through the process? Yes. But you're able to walk away from those things and now be a healed divine mother. Do you notice she came out first? And then everything that was behind her that she left behind. Do you see how that works? The faulty foundations, being hurt through going through the things that fell down and having to walk away from those you even love. But you had to see through those emotions, illusions, to set a firmer foundation, to have things be right side up, to set those intentions, to move through these storms, emotional storms, actions that were taken against you, sudden changes. And now the abundance flows. Is there anything else you want to add to this message before I close this down? Because I feel like the message has been given. Is there anything else? Anything else? Okay, no? Oh, yeah? All right. Okay, yeah, so coming out of those illusions, some of you had to speak words, take actions. Let those who know that you were for them be for them, and those who you had to set boundaries against that were in and out, couldn't decide if they were rocking with you or not. Some of you may have had sleepless nights about that. But you cleared your thoughts and recognized where abundance is your birthright. You stepped into your truth. And for some, it was heartbreaking. But you had to release those toxic relationships and move beyond these ancestral patterns to be able to move into acceptance of knowing your truth, to be able to set the intention to balance yourself out, to move into self-mastery, to be able to see the future better. First card out. So now you can see only the future better. And it looks like she's looking at all the abundance. This could even look like a crystal ball, being able to see the future. All of this was behind you. The Tower, the Nine of Wands, Eight of Cups, Seven of Cups, people going in and out, sleepless nights. But then it ends with the truth. Knowing your truth, being able to set things right side out, moving with laser beam focus, creating stability within your home. Sing and using your psychic abilities to let your light shine bright. Okay? That has been the message, the energy that is surrounding you. I want to thank you for joining me as many of you move into your soul's truth. Thank you for joining me, Tonae Star with Tonae Star Enterprises. And remember to always, 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 always let your light shine bright. Do what? Let your light shine bright. Always let your light shine bright. Do what? Let your light shine bright. And always shoot for the moon. And even if you miss, you are still amongst the stars. Thank you for joining me.